Hi, this is Anis from Never Stop Trucking. In this video, we will be talking about questions that every owner-operator should be asking a carrier they're about to lease onto. We have a lot of questions here, so let's go over them as quick as we can. So, first questions you should be asking about is the money and the pay structure. Is the pay percentage or per mile, and how is it calculated exactly? What is this percentage from? Is it from the gross revenue, or do you have another way to pay? Uh, there are other questions that people ask about the average pay weekly, how much you can get gross, how much you can net after everything. But those questions are really hard to answer. Depends on what kind of equipment you have. But you can give someone an example of drivers that go home every weekend, or drivers that go everywhere, drivers that have drive-ins or reefers or flatbed, drivers that don't like short loads or don't like longer loads. So it all depends on that. So you gotta tell this carrier as an owner operator, as a driver, what kind of loads you like to do, how often you want to be home, in what areas you will run, and which areas you will try to avoid. So that gives everyone a better picture of what you like to do, and then based on that, they can give you an idea on how much you can possibly expect on a weekly basis. Another question you should be asking is, how often do you pay? Is it weekly? Is it bi-weekly? Is there a hold on first week, or some companies will even hold 2 weeks of pay? So before you start, everything has to be clear, right? You don't want any surprises down the road. Another question that you should be asking is, do you offer fuel discounts if you have your own fuel cards as a carrier, and how much they're on an average? Which truck stops have discounts? Because a lot of fuel cards will have different truck stops that they work with. So ask which fuel card and what truck stops do you have discounts on. Next thing would be deductions and fees. What fixed weekly deductions will I see every single week? Because a lot of companies will say, well, you have insurance, you have maybe occupational insurance, fuel charges, the commission, but a lot of them will not tell you some other fees that they may have, and these might be smaller fees, but they will add up every week, and they will add up throughout the whole year. What are variable deductions like trailers, plates, IFTA, ELD, other kinds of insurance that you have? Is there an escrow? How much is the escrow? How do you deduct it? Is it partially from every check? And when do I get it back? And how, if I decide to leave? If I'm renting a trailer from you, do you charge for trailer maintenance or breakdowns? Who covers those, right? So you don't want any surprise deductions, okay? And then about freights. What kind of freight do you guys usually run? Do you do drive-in, reefer, flatbed? Do you do contracts, or do you do spot, right? So it's very important not to just assume that you might have, let's say some people will assume that you have auto parts lanes. Just because they've done them in the past, they think that everyone has those loads. So most companies will have their own things that they're focusing on. So you got to find out what kind of freight do they work with. Is the dispatch forced, or can I pick loads? Also, there are some companies, especially the companies that have their own loads, or that they have contracted loads, that if you're an owner operator and you refuse a load, some of them will put you back on their list, and they will offer other drivers loads, and you will be on the back of the list. So once these other drivers are covered, then they're going to go to you. So that can take a while. So you gotta, for example, here, We don't do that. If you don't like a load, we immediately start looking for another load for you. You're not going back to the list, like especially if you need a load today or tomorrow. If it's very urgent, there are no lists. If you have maybe two drivers that are in the same area, then you might like go by the fact who was unloading first, or maybe some guys don't want to go to that certain area, and then you're not going to offer that driver this load, you're going to offer it to this load. So but there has to be a way of figuring out who is getting an offer first. Right? It has to be fair. Can I see the rate confirmation? This is a big one. Some companies will not show you rate confirmations. Maybe they will create their own. Some of them might fake rate confirmations. For example, here you get the original rate confirmation, and we don't have a problem with that. You can even call the broker or try to find out how much the load was paying. Because there is a lot of mistrust, right? Because people have been burned. And wherever they go next, they think they're going to do the same thing. So they say, well, you're all the same. Everyone does the same thing. Everyone promises stuff. But then at the end, they all do the same thing. Well, no, rate confirmations here, you can have them. You can even have the broker email them directly to you. If you ask them, we don't care about that because we have nothing to hide. What else? Who actually negotiates the loads? Does the dispatcher negotiate the load or the driver? Can I self-dispatch myself? Some drivers want to do that. Some of them don't. So it depends on the driver. Another question you should be asking is how often can I get home? How easy is for you to get me home? And then you gotta tell them, this is where I live, right? If you live in Florida or Denver, it's different as opposed to living in Chicago or Dallas, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, or the Northeast, right? Or the Northwest. So you have to tell them all that. Can I pull your trailer? Do you have one for rent, or do I need to have my own? What are the trailer requirements, and then also the truck requirements? Because you gotta tell them, especially if you have an older truck, or if you have a glider kit truck that's ELD exempt, then you gotta tell them right away, hey, my truck is an older truck, will you work with me? Or my trailer. Do you help with roadside breakdowns? If I need roadside help, my truck breaks down, do you guys help with finding someone? This is a big one, right? Am I on my own? Because some people like to do that. They want to find their own shops or services. But some people, if there's a language barrier or they're not good with those kind of things like technology and finding shops online, they might rely on you as a dispatcher or as the manager of this company. Insurance. What kind of insurance do you guys provide, and what do I have to carry? Can I use my own physical damage and bobtail insurance, or do I have to use yours? Do I run under your authority only, or can I keep my authority active? Now, in most cases, if you are leased on to someone, you have to run under their authority, their insurance, and all of that. You can keep your authority active, but you can't use it at the same time, switch between authorities on your truck and on that you have and, with someone that you're leased on to. I know people do it. I know there are some carriers. I spoke to a guy not that long ago. He said the company where he works, he's a company driver, they have 3 DOT numbers that they change all the time depending on what load he's taking. So anytime he goes to pick up a load, he has to change the DOT numbers on his truck, which is illegal, definitely. Settlements. Can I see a sample settlement before I sign anything? Sure, you can. Do I get settlement details electronically each week? I think something is wrong on my settlement. Who fixes it and how fast? Now, the thing here is that, with our own app that we designed for Usora Express, we upload the settlements before the payday. So we release the money on Thursday. The money is in your account on Friday. But when we do settlements, the payroll, we do it before that, and it's available for you to see before we release the pay. So if there is something that doesn't match, then you can call us and say, hey, this has to be fixed before you even get the money, because otherwise you may get a different amount in your bank on Friday, but then you have to wait 7 days till next Friday for the next payroll until they fix it. This way we can fix it before we even release the money to you. Next question is there a contract term, or can I leave anytime with notice or without notice? What is the process if I decide to leave? Are there any penalties or fees? And then what happens with escrow and plates and anything else, like if you have the ELDs in your truck and all of that, fuel cards, what happens with that when and if I leave? Another thing is, like, this is very important. Who is my main point contact day to day? So you may work with one dispatcher, you may work with multiple dispatchers, but who is your contact after hours or on a weekend? If there's an emergency, who is my contact for the payroll, for the safety? Because not one person can do all of it unless this is a really, really small company, like 2 or 3 trucks. Can I talk directly to a person who does settlements if I have a question? That's another thing, because if you go through a dispatcher, then that there is going to be it's going to be hard to communicate that way. The more simple questions you ask, the better. The questions that can be answered. The only questions that are hard to answer is like, how much money can I expect? Like we said, that depends on the equipment and where you like to go and how you run. Do you take it easy, or are you a runner? Do you take your time at a truck stop? Like how long do you need to get to your delivery, and are you ready right away? Because some people, they like to take it easy. They like to take a lunch or breakfast, take a shower, get a break. So that all will, of course, matter when it comes to the gross amount of your pay. This is Anis from Never Stop Trucking. If you're interested working with us, Usora Express, the link is in description of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.